Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to be talking all about whether law school is worth it. So if you've been wondering, is law school worth it? Should I go to law school? Do I want to go to law school? This video is for you. We're going to be covering all the different factors that you should be considering if you're thinking about law school. If you guys don't know, my name is Sephora. I'm a licensed attorney and law school coach. I help individuals get into and succeed in law school. You can click the link down below in the description box to look at our law school coaching opportunities for both law school applicants and law school students. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Number one, if you're thinking about, hey, I maybe want to go to law school, but I'm not sure I want to go to law school. I'm not sure I want to be an attorney. I think what you need to be considering is what are the possible things you want to do after law school? And do you need a legal degree? Do you need a JD? And do you need to have passed the bar to do it? Right. And so I remember not too long ago, I was having a conversation with a client of mine who was talking about some of the potential things she wanted to do. And one of those was she wanted to be a professor, right? And so I asked her, well, what kind of professor do you want to be? Because there's a difference between wanting to be a college professor or even maybe a high school professor and wanting to be a law school professor. For the high school professor or the college professor, you don't need to go to law school, okay? If you want to be a law school professor, of course you need to go to law school. So this is what I mean when consider what you would like to do post law school. And by the time this video is up, I will already have posted a video on potential law school post-career options that you could consider. But when you're considering these post law school career options, that first initial question is, do I need a legal degree to do this? And that's a very important question because law school costs a lot of money to go to, okay? And so you don't want to be taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt if you don't actually need a legal degree to do whatever it is you want to do post law school, right? So that's that first consideration. The second thing that you should definitely be considering is your debt to income ratio, okay? So I just said law school is a lot of money, law school costs a lot to go to, so you're gonna wanna make sure, hey, if I end up taking $100,000 out in loans or $150,000 out in loans, is my desired career choice going to cover those loans, right? And now here there's a little bit of nuances because of course, like maybe you want to go into public interest. Maybe you want to be a public defender or you want to work in the government or something along those lines. And so maybe your starting salary right out may not be six figures, but you would qualify for public loan service forgiveness program, or is it it's either PSLF or PLSF. It is one of those. I think it's public service loan forgiveness, so PSLF, right? And so if you're going to qualify for one of those programs, then maybe your loans would be forgiven over time. And I think right now that is 10 years. So after 10 years of making the minimum payment in qualifying jobs, heavy importance on in qualifying jobs, then your loans would be forgiven. Now there's lots of nuances that come with that. And so if there's any chance whatsoever you see yourself down the line or potentially in the future moving to the private sector, and then you would thus no longer qualify for that, that's a consideration you need to throw into the calculus, right? And so let's say, for example, you're like, nope, Sephora, I want to go to big law. Then of course the big law salaries would pay you more than enough for you to pay off those law school loans. However, if that is your goal, then you do need to make sure that you are putting in the work necessary to land that big law job, right? Big law is pretty difficult to land unless you're at one of those top schools. I have a video up already about how I landed my big law firm jobs and my offers. And there's only 15 law schools that places over 50% of their students into big law, right? So 15. And so if you're saying, I'm going to go to law school and I don't care about how much debt I get or how much I have to take out because I'm going to aim for this big law, then that means you need to make sure that you are getting into a law school that makes landing a big law job possible. So if a law school is only putting 2%, 5%, 10% of their class into big law firm jobs, then, do you want to bank your future on that? And that's a decision that you have to make on your own, because that likely means you're going to have really strong connections and be in the top of your class, top 5% or top 10% to land that big law firm job, right? So these are all considerations that you should take into mind when you're considering, is law school the right path for me? What is my, and do I have college debt, right? Because of course, if you have college debt and then also you're going to take out debt for law school, that's another consideration when you're looking into your post-law school career options and what you would like to do post-law school. Because maybe you have no debt for college, and so you're okay with taking out debt for law school and then just going and doing whatever you want and then just paying off that law school debt. But if you've got that heavy college debt and you're going to take out hundreds of $1,000s for law school debt, then definitely paying more attention to your post-law school career desires, and specifically what type of career your law school puts its graduates into and how likely it is for you to get that opportunity. So I just gave the example using big law, right? And so part of this question is also like, how debt averse are you? So some people are more debt averse, some people are less debt averse. And so again, these are just considerations that you should be taking into account when you're considering, is law school the right decision for me? Do I want to go to law school? The third thing that you should consider when you're thinking about, is law school for me? Do I want to go? Is, do you actually want to be a lawyer? Now, I'm going to caveat this with like as much asterisks as I possibly can, because there's so many things you can do with a law degree. I mean, so many, and maybe that's a whole nother video, but in the traditional sense, most people see lawyers as what it's portrayed to be on TV, right? You're going to the courtroom and you're arguing in front of a judge. Know that that is one small subset of what lawyers can do, right? There are in-house lawyers. You can work in-house for corporations. You can work in-house for sports teams. You can be a corporate lawyer who pretty much just you don't go to court, right? You do document review. You're looking at contracts. You can be mergers and acquisitions, another type of transactional corporate lawyer, when you're really working on, again, like business details, transactional things, contracts, working on putting things together, negotiations between two different companies. You can be a mediation or arbitration attorney, right? So a mediator between two different parties. You can go and be a law school professor. You can, there's so many different avenues that you can use your legal degree with, right? You can be an artistic lawyer. And what I mean by artistic lawyer is you can be a lawyer who advocates for the rights of artists, right? So maybe you go in-house to a media company. Maybe you open up your own firm. Maybe if you are a CPA, you also want to have a law degree so you can handle the wide breadth of things for your tax clients, right? You could be a tax attorney. So anyway, there's so many different types of things that you can do with a law degree. There's so many different types. So don't think, just in the traditional sense of, I have to go into court, because of course that's absolutely not true. Nowadays, you could even be a career law clerk, which is working for a judge as your chosen career. So if you really, really enjoy research and writing in law school, that's also a career path for you. So there's so many different avenues there. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was first saying about, do you need a law degree to do what you're aiming to do? Or another piece of that question would be, will a law degree make me more valuable in my desired career path? And because of that, could I demand more money, which would justify the debt, if any, that I would have to take out to go to law school? The fourth thing that you should consider is your competing responsibilities, right? And so when I mean competing responsibilities, y'all, law school is not going to be like anything you've ever done before. And when you're going into law school, it's important to go in with the expectation that you are going to be selfish, right? You're going to give it your all, in the sense that you won't have to be devoting so much time to all these other things that may come up in your life, right? Now, if you're going to law school and you have a family, maybe that's your only other responsibility. And that's that. And it's law school and your family, right? And that's good. But when you're looking at maybe, and this is just as an example, maybe someone in your family is really, really sick and you're the sole caretaker, and you've got 2 kids, and you're working a full-time job, and you're the sole like monetary provider, so you can't leave that job, and you've got this, that, all these different things, right? And so when you're looking at, is law school worth it? Do I want to go to law school? Is it going to be worth my time? And when you've got so many different competing responsibilities, it may be something that you say, now's not the time, because I won't be able to give give law school my all to the point where I can perform well or well enough as I would like to get the job that I want to get, right? Or perform or give enough time to the application stage so I could get into a good law school so I could get the job I want, right? Because law school is busy. It's even if you go part-time, and it is going to take up a lot of your time. And it is something where you should be able to say, I can give, if not 50, if not 75, at least 60% of my time to, and 40% of my time to other things, right? And so I have a video up on preparing for law school already, and I talk about making a schedule, and that's kind of what I mean, because you don't want it to be a situation where you find out you weren't ready for law school and then you have to like drop out, right? And of course, some law schools will allow you to take a leave of absence, but to the extent that, leave of absence is more, it's better for that to be like something happened while you were in law school unexpected and you have to take that leave of absence, rather than you knew all these things up front and then you later on have to decide like, hey, I'm going to take a leave of absence, right? So that's something worth considering, is what are my competing responsibilities and how much time am I truly going to be able to devote to my law school studies, to getting into law school, to getting into a good law school, and ultimately getting the career I want. The last thing I'll say that you should consider when deciding if law school is for you is if you're ready mentally ready for law school. So I think that mentally speaking, law school requires a lot of strength, a lot of mental strength. I think I talked about this already. Law school was the very first time ever in my life that I was stressed. It requires a lot of mental strength. It requires a lot of fortitude, because it can get stressful, especially around exam time, especially if you're like aiming to be at the top, especially if you're gunning for big law or federal clerkships or these other types of things. So if you're mentally in a fragile state, or you're not mentally prepared to withstand these things, that may be something where you say, I'm going to put it on the back burner while I work on myself and get myself prepared for law school. So these are just some of the things that you should consider when deciding if law school is for you, if you want to attend law school. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Don't forget to follow us, Topping the Curve, on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you guys on my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to sign up for our upcoming workshop, toppingthecurve.com/workshop. It will be on the screen. Bye.